Yes,
Hi. I hope you're fine. It's good to see you all today again.
Thank you.
So
Welcome. Good
it's
afternoon.
Thank you,
yeah,
ma'am.
good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Some
Yeah, good
persons were
afternoon.
just gisting away as if they are in the corners of their room. When you log on to an online platform, the first thing you do is mute yourself.
All right. Thank you, ma. Thank you.
So I'm going to go ahead. You know, sometimes I just feel that we don't always need to, you know, enforce all this mute you all and all. You are adults in university. Some of you have even finished one degree. When you log on to an online platform, you mute yourself. You don't begin to chaka 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 chaka. So for commencing the class right away, I'm going to I wanted you to contribute by what's it called now? I'm trying to set all the meeting things so that all these distractions are minimized.
Yes, so yes.
So mute them, stop them from saying, stop them from writing on the screen and all. When you come, just listen. It's not a time to be gisting and chatting and be, you know. So good afternoon again. Mute yourself as you come in. Just mute yourself. Let's have some quiet. All right. So as you know, class is GST 1.5. I should just mute everybody. What's coming? Good. Everybody is muted. So I'm going to begin by sharing my screen. I'll begin to share my screen now. Okay. If you can see my screen and you can hear me, I want you to tell me in the chat. Can you see the screen? Is it being shared? And can you hear me? Yes to both, I guess. Yes, yes. All right. Okay. Thank you. So look at what is on your screen. You can see a head, right? A head with, are these birds or butterflies? What do you think it's pointing to? Look at the image on my screen, on the slide. What do you think it means? What interpretation can you give to it? Yes, somebody said he heard birds. Okay, several birds. So, okay, psychology. I'm aired with the different ideas. Great. What do you think it means? The mind is free to solve. Wonderful. Information flying. Knowledge. Okay, what does it imply? Okay, you already, some people are still saying birds, different things. Okay, thoughts, innovative thinking, fantastic. Knowledge from different ways, wonderful. End time, Johnson, you will not kill somebody. The composition of the brain and its innovation, Pelema, wonderful. Spread of ideas, nice. Good. Wisdom from different places. You all are very wonderful students. Eh? Thank you. Sociology. Wow. Implies foresight. Nice insight. Human thoughts. Knowledge thinking. evolution, full of past history. Wow, nice. Mindset, minds coming together, different imagination. Imagination. Is it looking to the future or looking to looking to the past? Do you think the head is looking to the future or to what has passed? Initiations. Future, 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 looking to the future. Great. Thank you all. You are very wonderful, brilliant students. I appreciate your contribution. So we'll continue. In the various means I communicate with you, I had informed you that we'll be examining unit module 2, that's the rise of modern science, right? You got my emails, Moodle messages, and e-learn platform, right? So do we have people who want to share what they read? Indicate by raising your hand, electronic hand, to share what you read on unit 2 of module 2, that is our discussion in this class today. So I'm calling Mojit Basit. I want you to respond to what you've read in this unit 2 of module 2. No other question, all right? So I've asked you to unmute so you speak. Mojit Basit.
Okay. Hello, ma. Thank you, ma.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, actually, I learned that the church will go against anybody, that gives them anything apart that they believe
Okay.
that the heavenly body is circling around earth. According to Galileo, Nicholas Copernicus, and Jonas Kepler, they were against them. Fine, we accept it. But once Galileo now invented the telescope and then confirmed what Copernicus said was right, they were also against him. Also.
Okay.
Now.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mute yourself. So is raining from where I am? I'm in Abuja and it's raining, it's cloudy. I hope the network permits us. All right. So if it gets bad, I am calling on you to close your videos. Okay. If you can, if it's fluctuating, please close your video so that we can have better network. Okay, so I'm calling Odibe Stanley. Unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, ma.
Odibe Stanley. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma.
Yes, ma.
Yes, ma. Talking about the classic ages of science, or let me say the rise of modern science.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read about the scientific revolution. The scientific revolution.
Okay.
Yes.
What is this talking about?
The scientific revolution said this was a period of radical change in science. The period, the scientific revolution was a radical change in science. The period where science took up. The period where science developed faster. And there was a scientist called Nicholas Copernicus.
Copernicus, great.
Yes. He was a Poland scientist and also a mathematician who existed from 1473 to 1543 AD.
Are you reading your course material to me?
No. I'm not reading my course material. I'm just trying to, from my summary, from my own summary, what I'm giving to you now.
Thank you, Stanley. Thank you for your contribution. I'm going to call the last but not the least person for now. Mekilum. I hope I got that name correctly. Unmute yourself. Mekilum. Why I'm not seeing You lower your hand. Where is Meculum that I mentioned? Is gone. So I'm going to call Yobosa Sulaiman. Unmute yourself.
Good afternoon. Ma.
Good afternoon.
I actually learned that he was a great geographer and an
Who is the
astronomer,
person? Who is the E?
Nicholas Copernicus.
Is Nicholas Copernicus the only person in this unit? Other people have mentioned Nicholas Copernicus. Mention another person, another personality.
Okay, that is why I focus on. Ma.
Okay, on Copernicus. He was a great geographer. Okay.
Yeah, an astronomer.
Thank you. An astronomer. Okay.
Mm.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll continue. We'll continue with the class. After, we'll take more contributions. For now, let's move on. So we'll be looking at sound is very low. Is that correct? Is that correct for everybody? No. Okay. So some can hear me very clearly, loud. I'm on the highest volume possible. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Loud and clear. Thank you very much for the feedback. All right. So just as you know, we are looking at Unit 2 of Module 2, Rise of Modern Science. And the two subtopics we'll be examining are the ones listed on the slide: the scientific revolution and the classical ages of science. So when we talk about scientific revolution, it was a period that they witnessed a complex change in scientific outlook, quite complex and rapid as well. It spans between 15th century and got to its climax in the 16th and 17th century. You might want to note this. So scientific revolution was a period. You see, revolution always comes with a great turnaround. So it witnessed a complex change in scientific outlook and lots of scientific advances too. And it's the period between 15th century and got to its peak, to its highest point between in 16th and 17th century. So through experimental science that was free from philosophy and religion, it emerged between this period. Okay. Now, who were the key thinkers? You can see that many of the people who responded to the question I asked mentioned Nicholas Copernicus. There is also John Kepler, Galileo Galilei, Isaac Newton, and Francis Bacon. All these people, we also study them as philosophers. So they were scientists, they were philosophers. In fact, they were philosophers, they were scientists, they were natural philosophers. Remember what I had said, that all other disciplines came from philosophy, and that's why we have the highest degree, academic degree, being called Doctor of Philosophy. So all of these persons were philosophers, but they were natural philosophers. Now, Ptolemy of Alexandria. Ptolemy. Who is in history? Who is Ptolemy? Ptolemy of Alexandria. Geographer, astronomer, wrote the book Almagest. And so in this particular book, he displayed how the heavenly bodies like the moon, stars, and the sun, and all the planets, how they move. So his text, Almagest, was a display, was an attempt, or was a display, a show of how heavenly bodies, how they move around the planets. If you can't hear me, you are probably muted. So you should look for the microphone sign at the bottom left of your screen or your device and touch it so that you can hear, all right? Many other persons are hearing. Okay, and all of these things we are discussing are from your course material. So if you miss any, you could easily go back to your course material and find it, okay? So according to Ptolemy, the Earth is located at the center of the universe, center, underline center, all right? Center, and all these heavenly bodies, they revolve around it. And this is what is called the geocentric theory. For those of you who did geography, geography is the study of, is it like Earth's surface? So you could relate this with it. When Ptolemy says the Earth is located at the center, that's why they call it geocentric. Geo, Earth, centric, center. Okay, so another name is called is Ptolemaic system or geocentric system or geocentric theory. Okay. So to Copernicus, that many of you had mentioned a great deal. You see the period between which he lived. I want to check something. So Copernicus lived between 1473 and 1543. What did he do? He was the one instrumental to making the first great change in scientific outlook after the Renaissance, all right? He was also a Polish, where is he from? From Poland. So he was a Polish mathematician and an astronomer. He came along and challenged the geocentric theory of the world. Note that Ptolemy that we discussed in the previous slide had told us that the Earth is at the center of the universe with all heavenly bodies like a moon, sun, and star revolving around it. That was what Ptolemy said. Copernicus, the first great change he made was to make a turnaround of that. Okay, so he came along and challenged the geocentric theory of the world. Having challenged it, what did he say? So for him, it is the sun that is at the center of the universe. So he turned it around. While Ptolemy had said is the Earth that is at the center, making it geocentric, Copernicus says it is rather the sun, one of the heavenly bodies, that is at the center of the universe, while the Earth and other heavenly bodies move around it in a uniform circular motion. So that is one major contribution of great scientific outlook that Copernicus brought. And this idea is called the heliocentric theory. This view, known as Copernican world system or heliocentric. So you see now, Nicholas Copernicus is identified with the heliocentric view, while Ptolemy is identified with geocentric view. So Copernicus upturned the geocentric view of Ptolemy to what Copernicus called heliocentric. And what does heliocentric mean? It means that it is the sun that is at the center of the universe. Geocentric means it is the Earth that is at the center of the universe, simply put. So we see some images explaining this better. Can you see the geocentric? This is the Earth. I hope you can see my cursor. This is the Earth, this is the geocentric, and all the heavenly bodies, Moon, Venus, Sun, Mars, Mercury, they revolve around it. The heliocentric view of Copernicus is the sun. You see where the sun is now, as against here, the sun is here in the heliocentric. So the sun is is at the center, and you see where Earth is here. Earth was here in Ptolemy, all right? Okay, so that is it. So geocentric and Earth-centered, this is it. Heliocentric, sun-centered, this is it. So this is just representing the ideas we've just discussed in those previous slides. So Copernican theory was not based on experimentation. He didn't perform experiments to arrive at this. He arrived at it through logical assumptions or hypotheses. That was how I arrived at it. So He considered theory as a serious work in astronomy rather than in philosophy. So he set out to justify it observationally and mathematically. So based on observation, based on mathematics, remember, he was a mathematician. And so he had a lot of conflict with the church. With what he said, somebody said it at the beginning, I think the very first person who responded to the question I asked made mention of it. So this made him, he changing the geocentric to heliocentric, he brought him in conflict with the church authorities. And what was the church authorities at the time? They were the church fathers. You know, they were moving, this was a period moving away from medieval, which was ruled by Catholicism, Roman Catholicism, ruled by the church fathers, ruled by Christianity. All right. So this was a period moving away from there into scientific. So at the time in the medieval, they agreed, they knew that, I mean, it was a general agreement sort of that it was the earth that was at the center. So, and it conforms with the teachings of the church, because if the earth is at the center, it means that we humans, we are at the center of attraction, so to speak. So by the time Copernicus came and changed this perspective, it brought him in conflict with the church. So as a result, he had a lot of conflict with the church authorities, and many of them at the time also had it. That was why many of them were born, or a couple of them were born at stake. Some of them were killed, and the likes of which the church had apologized for. So the implication of his theory, that's the heliocentric, is that humanity, we, you and I, humans, we no longer stand at the center of creation, since the earth is no longer at the center of the universe. That's the implication of the heliocentric view. And this is exactly why I accepted the geocentric view, because it supports the teachings of the church by making humanity to be at the center of creation. So it's not surprising to know that the people at that time and the authorities, they felt very bad over the affronts of Copernicus and their earth not being the center of attraction in the universe any longer. So to the next person, Galileo Galilei. Okay, another natural philosopher. So who was Galileo Galilei? An Italian who provided a very beautiful evidence to justify that ancient authorities should no longer be accepted without criticisms. So all those authorities of the church, it says we should criticize them. All those authorities, even in ancient period, we should criticize them. Galileo Galilei, he gave very beautiful evidence why they should be criticized. So Galilei was instrumental to inventing telescope. What do we use telescope for? For some of you who did science. Okay, so he invented telescope, and with this, he made use of it to view the heavens. And thus, he confirmed the Copernican theory. Remember, Copernicus said he didn't get it through experimentation, but rather through observation and mathematics. So with Galileo inventing telescope, he was able to confirm the Copernicus assertion that it's the sun that is at the center of the universe. All he needed to do was to use his telescope to view the heavens, and through that, he confirmed the Copernican theory that the sun was at the center of the universe. So he also got into trouble, of course, you can imagine, because he was confirming an assertion that was not popular. All right? Assertion that was not popular, especially to church authorities, to the church fathers. So he got in trouble with the church authorities for his temerity to be on the side of Copernicus. Credit is given to Galileo for discovering and establishing the true method of physical science. And he made a combination of this with the experimental and inductive methods, likewise with mathematical deductions to obtain his results. So one of the greatest scientific discoveries of Galileo was that he invented the telescope, which he used to view the heavens and confirm what Copernicus had said regarding the sun being at the center of the universe. So with the aid of this telescope, he saw countless stars, lots of stars, innumerable stars, whose existence no one had suspected. So he could not but say, agree with Copernicus that it's actually the sun that is at the center of the universe. So to the next fellow, Kepler, Johannes Kepler. So in the course of Galileo looking at the heavens with his telescope, in Germany, Kepler was searching them with his mind. He made use of his mind in a search. And so Kepler is credited to being the first to apply mathematics as an empirical instrument in searching for the laws of heavenly motions. He made use of mathematics. Mathematics is more of reasoning, deduction in the mind than using the use of telescope. So he was an advocate, that's Kepler, of the heliocentric view as well. You see how many persons have agreed with Copernicus? After Copernicus came Galileo, came Kepler. So they all agreed, they all saw the sense in it. And of course, the church authorities were not happy with that. So his greatest achievement, that's Kepler, as an astronomer, was the discovery of the 3 laws of planetary motion. What are those 3 laws of planetary motion? I want you to take it as an assignment and find it in your course materials. It's important you note it. 3 laws of planetary motion. What are those 3 laws of planetary motion that Kepler discovered and is regarded as his greatest achievement as an astronomer? Find it in your course material and know it for yourself. So to the next person, Isaac Newton. So in 1660, this year in particular was significant in the development of modern science, because it was in this year, 1660, that Newton achieved one of the greatest successes of all times. 1660, very significant in the development of modern science. So through his work, Newton as well confirmed the results of Copernicus, Kepler, and Galileo. You see, making how many persons who are supporting Copernicus? Making 3. So after Copernicus's assertion about the heliocentric view, Kepler supported him, Galileo confirmed it, Newton as well confirmed it. So all their results, all these 3 people or 4, form the first great synthesis of physical knowledge, which is the primary aim of science. And so what this means is that science aims to be able to combine many seemingly disparate facts to be able to explain, predict, and control nature. It's important you know those 3. And we had said it, I think, the first week of class or not. The 3 things science does: explain, predict, and control nature. For those who are following, we had said it's coming again. So to the last but not the least of them, Francis Bacon. So regarded as the first person to attempt to arrange the steps of the scientific method in a logical manner. In our first week, we discussed scientific method. We even listed each of the steps and explained it. The person credited with having to have systematized the scientific method in the logical manner that we have it, that we presented it to you in the first week of class, is Francis Bacon. And when you hear the saying, knowledge is power, if you've wondered who said it or where it came from, it's from Francis Bacon. Francis Bacon is credited with the saying, knowledge is power. So he marked the true beginning of modern science. So he emphasized, he stressed the role of scientific discoveries and inventions in giving human mastery over the forces of nature. So for him, in fact, in his philosophy, which we normally teach in 300 level early modern philosophy, he said he was out to discover how humans can subdue nature. So that's why I said the role, he stressed the essence or the importance or the duty of scientific discoveries and inventions in giving human mastery over the forces of nature. How we, human, we can have dominion over nature. So during the Renaissance, science was still a branch of philosophy. It was shortly after or that we have the fragmentation of disciplines from which all the other disciplines now began to emanate from philosophy little by little. But after that period, it succeeded in finding its own method of observation and experiment where it is necessary. Mathematical analysis is also used. Now, the classic ages of science. What is this classic ages? So at the time of scientific revolution, scientific advances were restricted largely to physics, to astronomy, to chemistry, simply put, to the physical sciences. Okay? At the time when scientific revolution took place, advances in science were largely from these disciplines we mentioned in the physical sciences. However, between 18th and 19th century, there were this period in history recorded further advances, progressions, especially in mathematics and astronomy. So one of the achievements in chemistry in the 18th century was the discovery of the role of air and gases. Okay, so during this period, they discovered what role, what importance air has and gas has, especially in chemical reactions. So such chemical reactions include combustion, which is burning, the eighth burning, respiration in organisms. And so the person that can be called the Newton of chemistry was the man named Antoine Laurent de Lavoisier. Okay, so if you're thinking of who is the person that can be likened to Newton in chemistry because of discoveries and advancement, it is this guy written in red, highlighted in red, Antoine Laurent de Lavoisier. So who is this person? It's a French name, so it might sound strange to you. So it's discovered that it was gas. So some of his discoveries now, Antoine, discovered that it was gas, which he named oxygen, that enables burning and respiration to take place. This was the person who made that discovery. That gas, which he called oxygen, that's what brings about burning and respiration to take place. Antoine. So, as you might be aware, nowadays we now take it for granted that we need air in order to breathe well. You should try to imagine what people that lived before Lavoisier thought of an activity like burning of things. They could have as well thought that it was caused by the gods, or they just didn't know, or they gave some what will appear to us to be very funny explanations regarding what causes burning. But it was Antoine Laurent de Lavoisier that made the discovery that gas helps burning, combustion, and respiration to take place. So they were not able to explain why burning took place in certain situations and not in others. You see, it would have been a puzzle to them because nobody had explained it until this guy came into the scene. So you can appreciate the beauty of discoveries and inventions, which we are now enjoying, because every other thing that came after this period in history, scientific revolution, they are just a build-up, improvement on what all of these guys were treating, what they had discovered. So the 19th century is regarded as the beginning of the scientific age for many reasons. What are some of those reasons? Why is 19th century seen as the commencement of the scientific age? Why? Why is it so? First, because there was this sporadic growth, progress, advancement of knowledge of nature during the 19th century. There was a rapid growth of knowledge of nature. Rapid, sporadic, fast, swift advancement of knowledge of nature in the 19th century. So it was also during this period that the view people had of natural universe changed. And so when it changed, they recognized that human was also subject to the same physical law, that we humans were also subject to the same physical laws and processes as the world around us. So therefore, humans as well, we should be studied. And that's why we have disciplines like sociology and many of those disciplines in the social sciences. So 2 reasons now we think why the 19th century is seen as the commencement of the scientific age. 2 reasons. There was a swift advancement of knowledge of nature during this period. During this period, the view of the ideas people had of nature, of natural universe changed. And having changed, it brought about a recognition that human, we were also subject to the same, or we are also subject to the same physical laws and processes of the world around us. And because we are subject to these laws and processes, humans also ought to be studied. So another assignment for you to do on your own and master, all right? Explain 2 reasons. That's in your own words. In your own words, that's you not copying and pasting, but you reading, understanding, chewing, masticating, and regurgitating it. In your own words, why the 19th century is seen as the beginning of scientific age. These 2 we are given, they are not the only ones. There are many other ones in your text. So I want you to disregard these 2, look at the ones in your text and tell me. And note it. Okay. So what were the major discoveries of the 19th century? There were major discoveries. What are some of those? You can't take everything there are. Let me see. Okay. In 19th century, there was a comprehension that, or understanding that atoms and molecules are the basic building blocks of matter. That's one understanding that came with the 19th century. Also that there was also the understanding that cells are the basic building blocks of living things. That's another major discovery of the 19th century. And there are also other major discoveries of it, which you can find in your course materials. And so that has brought us to the end of this class. So we use the remaining part of the class to answer your questions and receive your comments and concerns and the likes, especially pertaining the course, okay? I know many of you are confused about how to go about your TMAs. You know, you have many issues boggling you as students of open and distant learning. That is quite palpable because half of the responses I got, in fact, more than half of the responses I got last week about, you know, I said, mail me your questions, were issues pertaining to TMA, my score, how do I do my TMA, where do I find my classmates, where do I do this, where do I do that, okay? I tried as much as possible to help to answer. But note that I am much more interested in questions and comments that emanate from our discussion in this class, okay? I'm not saying you shouldn't ask those ones because I know it's because you're confused and you don't know what to do it can be a bit challenging studying in an open and distant learning school, but I've also observed that some of you are not observing enough due diligence. You won't relate with your colleague, you won't check your e-learn, okay? You were not at orientation where many things were said, so it makes it a bit more difficult. Somebody is asking, how can I get a recording of today's class? When you check your e-learn, log into your e-learn, you will see the icon, facilitation recordings. You can access the one of today and other ones we've done there. Okay, so what is the summary of all that we have discussed in this class? What is the summary? First, we looked at scientific revolution discussed in Ptolemy. Ptolemy was the one who began the revolution that Copernicus brought about. How did Ptolemy begin that? By saying that the Earth is at the center of the universe and other planetary bodies revolve around it. So Copernicus came and upturned it to the heliocentric view, which says the sun rather is at the center and other universe revolving around it. And Kepler, Galileo Galilei, Bacon, Newton, they all agreed with Copernicus. Copernicus, who landed in trouble with the church authority because the implication of his heliocentric view is that humans are no longer at the center of creation. So we discussed that. We also looked at the contribution of each of these scholars to modern science. And we looked at the classic ages of science, the contribution of Antoine Laurent de Lavoisier, his contribution, discovery of what causes combustion gases, which is oxygen, which is called gas, the oxygen, which is called gas, and also respiration. The reason 19th century is regarded as the beginning of the scientific age, we discussed too. I gave you 2 assignments for you to read up in your course material. What are the laws discovered? 3 laws discovered by Kepler. What are those laws? Find them in your course material. Explain 2 other reasons in your book why the 19th century is seen as the beginning of the scientific revolution. And so that brought us to the end of our discussion today. So I'll spend the remaining 15 minutes to listen to your questions and comments, and contributions are welcome, and concern. All right? You all are awesome. Always remember that. So questions and comments, as usual, raise your electronic hands. Make sure that your device is named with your name. Unnamed device won't be called, okay? All right, so I'll stop to share in the meantime so I can see all of your hands while I begin to call you. So this is your assignment. You are free to send it to me, okay, if you want, but you can, I just would, maybe I'm giving you an expo. I want you to read it in your course material and know it, all right? If you don't get the assignment, watch the videos, it will be there. The link will be there, okay? So I'm asking Adepoju Adeyinka to unmute. Thank you. Adebayo Damilola, Kelvin. So Adepoju Adeyinka, can you unmute and ask a question? Adepoju Adeyinka. Henry Nwokolo. Is he in class? Unmute yourself and speak.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Good afternoon, sir.
I thank you for the lectures of facilitation.
Thank you.
I've been wondering, looking at some of the things that transpired between the philosophers. Look at from the Dark Ages, Middle Ages, and the period of the Renaissance. I was wondering, because we talked about, the last time we talked about the Middle Eastern philosophers that gave us the numericals and all the rest of it. Why was it that most of them did not rise after that discovery? It was like a silence from that period. And coming back from what you have explained to us today about Ptolemy and Copernicus, I am like seeing that there was like something like competition amongst the philosophers, the scientists, because the Kepler, Galileo, and the rest of them agreed completely with Copernicus instead of going along with Ptolemy. And I wonder why the church was so emphatic or was against these men. The church hadn't scientists that could give us the answer at that time. Why was it so? And these men now went along with Copernicus, leaving Ptolemy's theory out of it, that the Earth wasn't in the center of the universe, that it was the sun. And these other three scientists went the same line. So I was like seeing it that way, that there was something like competition amongst this, who would be there was a kind of supremacy, whose theory was going to be more accepted. So from this now, which one are we taking the Copernicus as the more acceptable, theory? Thank you.
Thank you. That's a very wonderful question. It's very thoughtful and insightful. Thank you. I'll start from the red, like your last question. Till date, what is acceptable is that it is the sun that is at the center of the universe. And what that usually speaks to is that majority may not always be correct, because there was a time in history when the entire world believed that it is the earth that is at the center of the universe. That's one question gone. Two, why? Okay, your very first question bordered on in the East, after they've discovered the numerals, like there was some kind of silence. They didn't blow, so to speak. They didn't rise. That advancement didn't continue like it did in the West. Yeah, and it also seems like it's one of the things wrong with Africa and many of the and many other things. For example, there is an African origin of philosophy that even before, there are persons like Pythagoras, like Socrates, they had come to Africa before they went back to Athens and began their philosophy. So they actually borrowed a whole lot from Africa, but it's an unpopular view. An average text on philosophy talks it's Western. So it is now that philosophers of history are kind of rewriting it and saying, no, you can't just discountenance, civilization in that regard that began with us and make it your own. But somehow the deed had already been done, because there are even people who think, Africans who think that it's not the case. They go with the Western perception that philosophy began in the West. Meanwhile, it began in Africa. At least there is a school of thought to that. So I don't have a concrete answer regarding what happened, like the silence, given that they started well on a good footing by having some inventions that are notable, okay? And so what happened that is no longer so? Maybe ideas were not codified, maybe some persons were more vocal, vociferous about their ideas. Maybe we, because I think Africa also follows that line, we were more laid back, or we were not futuristic enough, okay? So that's your very first question. The medium question of yours is, it seems like, why was the church against Copernicus and the likes, and every other person that supported his thought? Well, it's also good to note that, just as I said, medieval period witnessed a surge in Christianity, Catholicism, Roman Catholicism, and church fathers. So they were quite strong and dominant. It's when the Renaissance came that we witnessed a decline in the church's power and authority. So they didn't know better. The church committed a lot of atrocities at this point, which one of the popes apologized for, okay? Many of these scientists, philosophers were burned at stake, their works destroyed because they thought they were committing a heresy. The church was influential and strong at the time. So it's a case of you didn't know better. You that used to wield so much power, you now have some of these people, saying things that the church at the time considered to be against the Christian doctrine. Remember I said the implication of the heliocentric theory of Copernicus is that creation, we humans, we are no longer at the center of creation. So that even has wide-ranging ramification, implication for Christianity, for faith, for life after death that the church stood for. So they went all out to make sure that these heresies, quote and unquote, were killed. So that was what happened. At least a tip of the iceberg of what happened. I hope I answered the questions. So I'll call some more persons. And thank you for that question. They are insightful, good questions. So I'm looking for a lady to call. I'm gender sensitive and biased, but I'm going to balance it up. Mercy Akinjoye. Myself, is she there? Akinjoye, Mercy.
Good afternoon, doctor.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes. Please, I don't actually have a question, but I have a complaint on the previous recording lectures.
Okay.
As I access the e-learning portal, trying to go through it to watch it, I even send you a mail. I discovered saying the saver is not supported.
Okay.
And every other one, I was able to access it, but the first lecture you gave us, I was not able to access it.
Okay, the very first one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you on any of the GST 105 platform?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, so if you're able to watch the other ones, I don't know, has anybody been able to watch that first one? If we find at least one person who has been able to watch that very one, it could just be something that is not right. Maybe at this point you're watching. Okay. The reason I asked, yes, I did. There are many yes in the chat room. So yes, if you are on any of the GST 105 platform, there is a write-up I did on watching. So you may just try again and try again and try again. But the admins are listening. Please look for that write-up on how to watch and repost. But you've been able to watch other ones. It might just be chance occurrence that one is not playing. So just try again.
Doctor, the one I watched was not from GST 105. I was able to access MTH
Okay, so you've not
105.
been able to watch any on GST 105?
Yes, ma.
Okay,
It's
people
telling me that the
answered
saver
in
is
the
not
chat room now that they were able to watch. So there is nothing wrong with the link. It might just be chance, all right?
okay.
And in that write-up, I wrote that, you see, after each lecture, you see we are recording now, after each lecture, Zoom sends the link. And
Okay,
all I do is copy and paste. I don't know if you get. So it's not hampered with at all. I just copy and paste it there. You see the characters are quite sensitive, tiny, some could be missed and all. So the fault couldn't be coming from me. Some have seen it. So maybe just try again. One day you might get lucky with 105 as well. All right?
Okay. Thank you, ma.
Thank you. Lower your hand. Okay, so we will call Abubakar Monarch Jeremiah. Unmute yourself. Monarch Abubakar Jeremiah, is he here? Or we move on?
Yes, I'm here. Just a minute, please.
All right.
Sorry.
We are taking our time now. Can you see how many hands are up? He's not ready. When you are ready, right? We give another man, Alex. Unmute yourself, Alex. Is Alex there? Is Alex online? Okay. You know the. We'll move on to somebody else. Musa, Audu. Is Musa Audu there? Musa Audu, unmute yourself. Okay, he's unmuted. I don't add people to GST platform. You should ask your colleagues, right? Musa Audu. Okay. 4 p.m. So we go to somebody else. Umaru Mercy. So Alex
Excuse
is here.
me.
Go ahead,
Yes.
please.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Sorry, I was a bit late the other time. I want to know the assignment that you gave to us the other time so that I can write it down, please.
Okay. I'll find a way to copy and paste it into the chat box. Is that all?
All right, ma'am. That's all.
Okay. Thanks, bye. Okay. So Mercy Umar. Unmute. Okay. Oh, she's gone. Okay. So speak. Umar Mercy, you are unmuted. Okay, so they have shared the assignment in the group. Thank you very much. The admins have shared it in the group. Mercy Umar, are you speaking? I think we need to move on now. So I'm going to mute you. Benjamin Victor. Benjamin Victor, unmute yourself. Are they all just raising up their hands without being here?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Okay, mine is also a little to do with attendance. This is my second time of attending the class, and I think I've not been added to any of the platforms.
You've not been added. Nobody will add you.
I've been chatting to see whether the admin can add me to the GST 105 platform. platform so that I can know what they are doing. Because most
Why
of
not
the
click on the link sent to your module, your e-learn, and your email to join?
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me try that.
That's the way
Thank you.
to do that. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to find somebody else to call. Amesi Ihe Is he here? Unmute yourself.
Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening, sir.
I must commend you. You are one of the best facilitators.
Oh my God, my head is swelling like Gary Jebu. Thank you.
All right, straight to my question.
Good.
Yeah, just like what is happening today in the religious sector, is also what I discovered that happened during the 18th century philosophers. When this person will come up with an idea, the other person will come up with different ideas. Now, the Nicholas or the Copernicus theory that was supported by Galileo. Now, today, is there any other person, another philosopher that came up to disregard or to object the Copernicus and Tomalik theory to say that not the earth nor the sun is in the middle of the distance of the earth?
Okay, wonderful. Somebody, okay. Sorry.
That is one question. That is one question.
Okay.
So, secondly, what is the difference between the universe and the earth?
Well, okay, is that all?
Okay, answer me these two questions first before I proceed to the last one.
You don't want other people to answer. Ask your last one.
Okay, my last question is the assignment. Do we post it on the platform or there is an email to post it to?
Okay, assignments. Okay, thank you. I will respond now. So the first question, is there somebody who has come up to say the earth is neither at the center? Oh no, that is neither the earth being at the center nor the sun being at, no. The position that holds sway till date is the Copernicus position, which is called Copernicus revolution. All right, that's one. Universe and Earth, I think they are synonymous alongside with cosmos, cosmology, study of the universe. I think they are all synonymous terms depending on the context of usage. And I think in our context, they are synonymous. Assignment, should you post it to the group or email to send? Just as I said, you can send to me if you want, but it's more or less that you should read it up and master it on your own. But you can send it to me if you so desire. My email address is what I used to send you messages every time. And I posted it last week as well. So I think I've answered all three questions. Any of the admins, please kindly post the link to the group in this WhatsApp, in this chat currently, so that people can join. All right. So Oluwadare Femi, you say I should call you. Now I'm calling you. Oluwadare Femi, is he here?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Speak up.
Yes, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you. Everybody can, I suppose.
So my question is, actually, most of us, I can say me, actually, I was unable to join many of the classes. So
okay.
This let me say my second time.
Okay.
So
why were you unable to join?
Yeah, maybe sometimes I must be at work, and sometimes my network may fail and all that. So my question is, like, our exam is fast approaching now.
Yes.
So in our course material, so in what units and in what module should we be able to cover up before the exam?
If I tell you, Emmy, is that your first question? Do you have more?
No. No, ma.
All right. Thank you. So you are asking for area of concentration. That's how students call it. If I ask you to concentrate on any part, I would have misled you, and that would not be good. It will be deceit. Read as much as you can in your course material, watch the facilitation, and that's it. Because I am not in control of where your questions will come from. It's as simple as that. Thank you very much. So I'll call Adepoju Adeyinka again. I hope it's here this time. Adepoju Adeyinka, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you too.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I was unable to join the last section before now. So when I was going through my material, I saw that during the Dark Ages, I will need clarification that it's of interest that Ghana got to its highest peak.
Ghana, okay.
Yes, got to its highest peak of civilization then. So I was now wondering that what is it the present Ghana?
Okay, Ghana, is it that they call Ivory Coast, Gold Coast?
Yes, okay. Is it the present Ghana that we know? And if it's the present Ghana, so, what happened to them? That's the question. If at that time they got to their highest peak of civilization, so what happened to them? So that's the first question. Then the second question, talking about the discoveries and the invention of these great philosophers. We talk about Ptolemy, Copernicus.
See, my brother, that P, you don't pronounce it. Ptolemy is like psychology.
Ptolemy, okay. We talk about Ptolemy, Copernicus, and the others. But the first person, he said the Earth is at the center of the universe. So somebody else came and countered it. That no, there is a sun that is at the center of the universe. But what I'm looking at is, if he had not brought this theory that the Earth is at the center of the universe, the second person wouldn't have gone to make his own research and I found out that no, it's the sun that is at the center of the universe. And as you were teaching us, they said credit was not even given to him. But I felt that, in fact, he did a lot for finding out first. And that prompted others to now go and do their own research. So I'm just looking at it that way. Credit was not given to him, but at least he did something. Thank you,
yeah. Okay, I like your contribution, Adepoju Adeyinka. So, you see, I'll start with the last, that he was not given due credit. I don't think he wasn't given due credit. You know, for how many centuries the world believed Ptolemy's assertion that it's the earth that was at the center of the universe. Ptolemy had the backing of the church. He was a strong man, kind of, you know. And for years, for centuries on ending, that was what was believed before Copernicus came to the scene. So it just looks like he wasn't given much credit because of the number of philosophers we highlighted spoke in support of Copernicus. I quite agree with what you said, that if that had not been on ground, Copernicus may not have been prompted to make his own research to find out that it's not actually the earth that is at the center. So it's reminded me of a saying we have in the academia, like, we all stand on the shoulders of giants. We all didn't start from the scratch. We have, you know, supervisors, mentors, we read books, great books, and we're still reading. And so from there, we begin to advance, develop our own ideas that will seem novel and all, but nobody had it all like plainly without any springboard. So you are very correct in that. regarding Renaissance and talking about Ghana, I don't quite remember that part of your text. Maybe I might have to check it up. But I think, you know, Ghana used to be called Gold Coast, if I remember. They have a lot of gold and all. And so they, at that point, they got a lot of things, I guess. Maybe that was when the discovery of their gold began and the like. So yeah, I don't know. I think you said if it is the same Ghana or another Ghana, I suppose it's the old Gold Coast that they were. And they were talking about the advancement they had at the time we borders on their discovery of gold. But I may need to check that portion of your course material. If you will give me, okay, Dark Ages, you said, I could look it up and next week comment more on it. All right, thank you. So it's almost 15 minutes past, so I'll call a couple of other persons. I'll call, we just have many Mercies, Mercy. Okay, I'll call Rachel. Unmute yourself. Or have I called you before? Rachel?
No, ma. Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Dr. Apologies. My question is regarding a question that's written on the course material. It says, what would you call the observation made by Copernicus and Galileo? I'm not sure of the answer. I wanted to confirm. And the reasons why, the reasons for the answer given, that's the reason for the, what the observation, the answer given for the observation made by Copernicus and Galileo.
The questions in your course material are meant to gauge how well you understood what you've read, right?
Yes.
I think I got a question, or maybe in my email, or maybe in my email, or somebody asked it in a class or something, that the TMAs in their course material, where are they going to submit it? They are not to be submitted. So I'm responding to both together. The questions in your course material are meant to evaluate how well you've understood what you've read. So this one that is not clear to you, what you will do is you go back and fish out the answer from the body of that unit in particular. Do I answer your question?
I just want to confirm if my answer was correct. I did get.
Okay, is the answer not there?
It's not direct. It's not directly written down.
Okay. Now I don't have a hard copy of your course material with me. Okay, so send me the question, send me the answer you got in an email, and I will find out what it is. Is that okay?
Thank you very much, ma.
Okay, so I'm sending you my email directly.
All right, ma.
HLJT@mun.edu.ng. All right. So thank you, Rachel. We move on to another person. I'll call Habila. Habila. Is she, I suppose, in class? Habila Beko Sayi. Is she here or he? Unmute yourself.
Good day, ma.
Good day.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Not she.
Eh?
Actually, I want to comment on your lectures. Although this is my second time of having this class.
Okay.
And it's so interesting.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I really want to get in touch with the admin on how to be part of
the what?
I said I want to get in touch with the admin. Yes, I said I want to get in touch on how to be part of the
Admins, they are
platform.
listening to you. Okay, admins, please post the group link.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what
Thank
you
you,
want?
ma'am.
You want to join the group?
Yes, ma'am.
So admins, I beg you, post the group link into the chat room. And Manasseh, Joanna, thank you. You sent me the page number of where Ghana is. I'll check it up and comment next week. Remind me. Thank you. So I should call you now. No. It's Monarch. Abila, thank you. Your question is done and dusted. I'm looking for, all of you have been men. Let's be balanced. Umaru Mercy, haven't I called you? I think I did. Okpara Bliss. Okay. Unmute yourself. Bliss. Chinasa. Is she here? She not there. Okay, let's move on to somebody else. Bakari Ayomikun. Is she here? What is it? Where are they now? Let's move up, look for another person. Bakari Ayomikun, can you unmute yourself? She's not there. Okay. Williams Mary, is she here? Mary Williams.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay, welcome. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my first time joining this online platform. So, and I just joined. I just registered for now recently. So I wanted to know if everyone is going to write the exam at the same time. Like even because I just joined recently, it hasn't been long. So most of the learnings I've not been taught.
It's not done. If
Yeah.
everybody will join will
Like
write their
everybody's doing it
exam.
at once. Yes.
The timetable is out already. Try and do your TMAs. Join your
Yes, I've done that
departmental.
already.
Okay, join your departmental group. Find out the link. Join. Ask questions there. And whether everybody will RIS, depending. If you have GST 105, everybody will write based on their study centers.
Okay. Okay. Thank
All
you,
right.
ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. Admin, please send the group link to this chat room so that they can join and interact. I observe many of you, some of you complaining very bitterly that some courses are not being facilitated and all that. You have a valid concern, but as students, you should also know how and where to channel your grievance. And where to channel your grievance is to authorities, appropriate places where what you are not happy about can be addressed. Going to WhatsApp platform, Facebook, and all to kind of rant won't do it. So I'm going to give you a few means. Complain to your desk officer. If desk officer is not doing enough, meet your center director. If your center director has not given you a satisfactory answer, complain to your HOD, head of department. Check online. The email or phone number is there. If your HOD is not doing enough, complain to your dean. At least out of all these 4 channels, somebody would rise up and say, okay, we need to do something. Don't just go to WhatsApp and be venting. There's nobody on WhatsApp that is going to take up your matter on his head and carry it. I don't know if you get it. So channel your grievance to places, quarters where it can be addressed. So I'm closing this class at the maximum 4 o'clock. So I'm making up for questions I could not take last week, okay? So I'm going to call Jagede Runke. Runke Jagede Justina. Is she here? I'm asking you to unmute. Okay. Are you here now?
Yes, ma. Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon.
And the question that the boy that already asked, that's the question I want to have, that I can't be able to join the group. That's what I'm asking. You've already told the admin to send the link. So that's what I want to. Thank you,
I've
ma.
sent it myself, so you can just click on it and join.
All right. Thank you, ma.
Okay. So
thank you very much, ma.
Welcome. I'm coming. I'm trying to. So it's been sent. Please mute yourself. Mute yourself. Don't disturb us with background noise. Okay. Okay, Monarch. Where is Monarch? Is he still here or is gone? Monarch, okay, I can see him. Okay, so unmute yourself. I've asked you to unmute.
Okay, can you hear me now, ma?
We can hear you.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you
Good
so much for
afternoon.
the opportunity. I wanted to actually live, where I was in order for me to have a good ambience to communicate. All right, so first of all, I would like to thank you for your facilitation. I must say, honestly, this is my first time of joining, and I've been able to also go through your the recordings of the previous classes you did. Okay. And it was really, really interesting and insightful. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. So what I want to ask is this. Of course, I had other challenges, which, of course, I'm not going to start listening them again. But with the provisions you have made available, maybe we'll have to follow through to tender our complaints to those channels.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. All right. Thank you. So now, on this very particular topic we look at today, which is the history of science in the modern era, I wanted to ask, of course, we don't have enough time anymore, but my question is, apart from, of course, you talked about mathematical, mechanisms and then other mechanisms that they use to carry out their investigation and experimentation. Is there any supporting means or medium or methodology that was adopted in those eras to really present some of these claims that you talked about?
Okay.
And if it is mathematical, how is it possible? Which particular subject in math, is able to help us understand the universe? It's something I've been trying to think about. And finally, somebody was asking a question before, trying to understand the difference between the earth and the universe. And I was like, also trying to contribute. So when I talk about the universe, based on my own understanding, it has to do with the entire planetary system, all right, or the galaxies and all that. But the earth on its own is a planet on its own. That was my own understanding. But the universe is not just a planet, but is a system. It's a system of the entire galaxies that has been presented to us and all that. So that's aside. But so on this, my question, right? Apart from mathematical mechanism, is there any other mechanism or methodology, right, that they deploy in order to come up with some of these claims?
All right.
Thank you,
Thank you.
again, once
Thank you,
for the opportunity. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mute yourself now. Who is this person? Mute yourself. Who is the person? What's the person's name? So thank you for your question, Monarch, and for your contribution. In a certain sense, you're right about universe and Earth. Earth is one of the planets. Planet Earth. You have many other Earths: Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, Neptune, and the likes. Universe. Depending on context, yes. Thank you. So other means they deploy. Remember we said Galileo invented telescope. All right, so they made use of that, made use of observation through the power of mathematical reasoning. I know probability was high at the time. The theorem of Pythagoras was rhyme at the time. But basically, they just as, I mean, the mathematical stuff, it's based on logical, deductive reasoning. Some level of reasoning that emanates from logic, from mathematics. They were able to do certain deep thinking and permutation, of which some scientific instruments aided them in this regard. Okay, so that's what they did. So they made use of observation, a few of the inventions they had at the time, like telescope. They also made use of it to be able to do this. So some of them didn't just rely on pure logic or experiment, but they made use of some of these other ideas I have mentioned. Please, can you mute yourself? Justina Jagade, where is she, so that I can send her out of here? These people that will just... simple instruction. Okay, so I'll call Precious Effiong. Is she here? We have 2 more minutes. I've given 30 extra minutes to take questions. Precious Effiong.
Okay, I'm right here. Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon.
Please, I would like you to shed more light on the medieval ages and what's the difference between the medieval age and the very dark age. Thank you.
Medieval.
Yes.
Medieval, another name for medieval is middle age. So don't say medieval ages. Is either you say medieval period or middle age. So in medieval period or in middle age, they are divided into 2, the dark period and the Renaissance. The reason it's called dark is because there was constant conflict, invasion by barbarians at the time. So life was one of struggle and there was decline in knowledge. This was something we discussed last week, okay? So that period is one of the phases in medieval period. The second phase of medieval period being Renaissance or Renaissance, as many people call, but that word originates from French. So if you're calling it in French, I saw many of you yabbing me, right? I saw it, I read it, I was laughing. That she does not even know how to pronounce Renaissance. Okay, so I'm calling it Renaissance now. Okay, so Renaissance. She doesn't even know how to pronounce Renaissance. Some of you were saying all that, but it's okay. Okay, so Renaissance or Renaissance, whichever, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, so Precious, that's that. Our time is fast spent. Sorry, I can't take more questions. If we have to take all these hands that are up, we will not leave here today. So we need to go, but I'll still give you my email. If you have valid questions, question about the course, basically, okay? Ask. Many of you were asking me TMA. I understand you don't understand the system, okay? So, but noun.edu.ng. All right. So that's the link for the group. And so we are done. Allow participants to. So we are done. You can unmute yourself if you want.
Hello?
Hello, madam. Please, can I have my question or no more question?
I
You can
test
ask
my
your
question.
Hello?
You can ask your question. Go ahead.
Please, what are the the law of nature, and what type of and the type we have.
They are in your course materials. Read them.
Good afternoon, man. Good afternoon.
We discussed this last week. So everybody, you can go.
Good afternoon.
The time is
Hello, ma. Dr. Eileen.
Can you hear me?
So you can go. The lecture has ended. Don't feel obliged to stay. Have a nice weekend, everyone.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, now go there. Bye-bye. So no as well.